you three have something in common, which is not something that most salespeople have actually done, I find, which is doing door-to-door sales, which I think we can all agree is the OG and most difficult type of sales. So my question for you guys is, what did you sell? And do you have a particularly good story, maybe a rejection story or a good win story that you'd like to share?
So I sold like internet TV and phone services, Verizon Fios, and I was like not in the greatest parts of New Jersey, but my goal was to basically get invited into their house, and that was my strategy. I was come off like super nice. My strategy was like I'm gonna pretend to be their grandson because there's a lot of not actually be their grandson, but like that's the vibe I want to give off. Like I'm so nice that they would treat me as a grandson because there's a lot of like older women that were home during the days.
Can I ask one thing?
Yeah.
Did you have a go-to repeatable line that you would say or phrase or anything, or was it always like based on the situation?
Yeah, they taught you stuff. It was just like you were saying that you were in town because you're installing some people. I'm sure they have similar ones where it's like, hey, we're in town, we're installing Verizon with your neighbors, and then you go down this like you basically have to get a yes on the spot. And at Verizon, they had to do a soft credit check, which means you had to get their social security number.
Ooh.
So you had to get a stranger to give you their social security number.
Big trust.
Big trust, and we got him. It was crazy.
Wow. Okay.
That's big time.
Awesome. Yeah, how about you, Will?
So I did door-to-door weed care services or lawn care, and it was called Weed Man Lawn Care.
Wow, nice.
So we had a vest that said Weed Man, and people got the wrong idea when we showed up. But it was cool. Like we did basically the same thing where we'd say, hey, we're in the neighborhood, we're doing free consultations. We noticed on your driveway there's some weeds growing in the cracks. How have you been dealing with that? Do you do your own lawn care? Like, do you use someone else? Like, what's the situation?
Let me ask, because I feel like especially folks like Josh Braun talk about like pointing out the problem.
That's what they taught us to do. Like, they'd say, like, look at the cracks and see if there's weeds, or like look at their lawn and see if there's like crabgrass or something that doesn't look right, and point it out and say, what have you done about that, or how are you handling that?
How effective was that? And were there times where you could have a clear observation or someone could have a terrible lawn and they'd still tell you to buzz off? Or
Yeah, they'd still tell us to the biggest thing was they want to do their lawn themselves. It was, the dad would be home and he'd say, no, I do my own lawn. I don't need any help. So that was the biggest objection. And I was young at the time, so I didn't really have a great understanding of like how to overcome that. I was 18 and it was like a summer job. But now I would probably just say like, oh, but like how much do you work? How much time do you really have for that? Let us take that off of your plate. We only have $39 a month for a lawn care service, which back then was really cheap. $39 a month for lawn care is super cheap. And so, yeah, I mean, that was what it is. I didn't have to like sell them on the spot. I was just selling free consultations. So once I got the consultation, I got my commission. So if they agreed to have a free consultation have our lawn care specialist team come out and evaluate what they could do for them, that's when I would get paid.
wow, okay, get that consultation.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was
Okay,
it.
good stuff. What about you, Mo?
Yeah, it was actually like my internship. It started as an internship when I dropped out of college. So basically, first job in sales, and it was door-to-door sales with restaurants. So it was like an open table competitor. We are selling software to restaurants that would only take reservations over the phone. So one thing that helped was like just working with great people, of course, and just doing like kind of almost like events, like we would go out together. Like sometimes the CEO would join us and stuff like that.
Oh, that would help.
So,
I
yeah,
bet.
yeah.
But really quick, so it wasn't a door-to-door residence, but actually knocking on a business's
Yeah,
door.
yeah, yeah.
How different is that? Because I imagine if you're walking to a restaurant, maybe it's a hostess, maybe it's a a waiter or waitress. How do you find the right person who's in charge, really?
Yeah, you can. We try to like do some research and like look it up, but the difference obviously is you have some kind of like a real world gatekeeper.
Yeah.
And for sure they try to like not let us, or they never told us like, when the owner will be around and stuff like that. So that was a challenge for sure. But I guess, like all door-to-door sales is challenging in some way. So for us, it was just like getting in front of the owner and decision maker, because like the difference is they are like super busy,
True.
and you want to steal some time from them. So that that was challenging. But it was like when you do that, you face so much rejection, right? So yeah, it was very useful for my career later on. Yeah, for sure.
One last thing, maybe all of you guys can bestow some wisdom to the crowd. Having been through door-to-door sales and now doing an entirely different type of sales, what is one piece of advice or wisdom that you would give to someone who wants to get into sales today, especially if they're going the door-to-door route?
I think in the beginning, especially, I was like obviously very nervous and stuff like that, and I was like selling a startup or like unproven a product. And I think what just really helps is to be very straightforward about it and like be very genuine and like very honest and just say, hey, you can even say, hey, I'm just starting in this job, like please bear with me, and like just be a human. And when you're a human, they will treat you like human. They will have like much more understanding and maybe patience with you. So I would say that's like my number one thing that
That's
I
a great
learned.
tip. Awesome.
What about you?
I'd say flip your mindset if they want to go into door-to-door sales. I think you almost have an advantage over most sellers because if you're cold calling, you're missing so many elements of that human connection. But when you're actually door-to-door selling, you have everything. You have physical presence, you have smile, you have tone, you have the actual handshake. So I think just flipping your mindset of, hey, this is an opportunity for me to really showcase my enthusiasm in person, that would be my advice. And I mean, my friends do door-to-door solar, and it's all about enthusiasm. They make a lot of money. So
That's a great point because you're right. Like, how many of us in remote sales or strictly doing stuff on Zoom calls were like, oh man, I can't wait to see this person in person or go to that event so I can shake their hand. So that's actually a really good one, man. Then what about you?
Yeah, I would say like anything that involves you talking to people or like facing rejection is always a good like pre-sales career choice. So like door-to-door sales, absolutely. If that's not for you, like working at a restaurant, like being a server, I would say is like right below it because it allows you to just talk to people. You're working on tips, so that's going to be performance based. And don't be like too good to do door-to-door. Like it's a great way to cut your teeth in sales, learn how to deal with rejection, talk to a lot of different people, get your at-bats. For me personally, for me, it wasn't a long-term career, but it was something that taught me a lot. And then I, apply some of that mindset in my day-to-day job now.
Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen. Very useful advice here. Appreciate you all.